October is always known as the month of horror, where rowdy teenagers are persecuted by masked guys with machetes, and all the monsters go out to do their own. In this XTop, you will know some of the most chilling titles of the last 10 years. Are you ready for terror? If you're a fan of the classic slasher movies, Until Dawn is the best option for you. In this adventure of suspense, a group of friends return to a snowy mountain after a twin's dead who died a long time ago for a bad joke they did. This adventure of suspense and horror will remind us some classic movies like Saw, Friday the 13th, or basically any slasher movie. Until Dawn is the perfect title to be afraid if you play alone, or the most sadistic party game if you play with friends. Investigate this cottage in the mountains will not be easy due to a loose murderer who wants revenge for that bad joke few years ago. The best point that this game can give you is its high playability, having several endings depending on your decisions. You can make only men survive, maybe only women, or be the worst sadist for making everyone die, to bring out that sadistic curiosity in this interactive adventure. From the mind of the great Shinji Mikami, a new terror came to us, the evil within. In this survival horror, we will play the role of Sebastian Castellanos, a veteran detective who is attracted to the store war inhabited by nightmare creatures and gloomy environments. Like all survival horror that is respect, the fight against the enemies will be the last option, so escape will be the first thing before these monsters catch you, in case you get to fight or find some creatures lying on the ground. The best thing to do is to burn their remains, so you don't take any surprise. Unlike the Resident Evil classics, we don't only recommend you to flee from nightmares, keep your ammo, but don't let survive anything who attacks you, or you'll regret. In that time, the game received constructive criticism and a sequel that brought more surprises for fanatics of the director of the first Resident Evil releases. You can find this game in present-day consoles and consoles from previous generations to have a spooky adventure. A great exponent that combines mystery and terror is Amnesia: The Dark Descent. In this story, you will control Daniel, whose past or background are a mystery to himself. Since, as the title of the game says, he does not remember anything beyond his name and descent. Waking up in a desolate castle, Daniel must investigate each room as well as open each drawer or door to find a way out. We could not have an interesting horror game if they were not strange creatures loitering in the castle. If you get to see them, run, and do not let them catch you. Close those doors and find another way before these infernal beings manage to trap you. Narratively, Amnesia: The Dark Descent will give you a few hours of fun with a worthy background of the books of H.P. Lovecraft. In a time where we thought that horror games had already died with the Resident Evil saga imitating the action in its movies and forgetting the essence of survival horror, the indie industry had a great fame when bringing along several shocking games. Outlast locked us in an insane asylum, in which we discovered that several patients are used for illegal experiments. This place is almost in ruins with neglected patients, and some of them are highly disfigured. Just like any good horror video game, being helpless in a desolate place and full of creatures that will kill you with a single blow is the common thing. What it makes this video game stands out is the use of night vision in your camera to pass through rooms that could be your exit from this dangerous place, and you will only be able to rely on your own resistance when jumping over through tables, walking on the narrow roads, or holding while you try to not fall down when moving around the outskirts of the asylum. Besides, you should forget that any noise could finish with your miserable life. One of the most iconic franchises of space terror is the Alien franchise, with more than 30 years of movies and several video games, and its name not only its own franchise, crossovers with other series as a Predator, and even being an eligible fighter in Mortal Kombat 10. The xenomorphic race is the most versatile when it comes to video games. Alien Isolation is located a few years after the events of the original movie. The daughter of the protagonist, Amanda Ripley, is looking for the whereabouts of her mother, for what we will enter the solitary space without realizing what awaits for her. Despite being armed, Amanda will have to figure it out how not to be a victim of the xenomorph stowaways that can capture her at any time. If you think that the artificial intelligence will be a joke like the last Alien title, think twice. Since these beings will learn from your patterns and tricks, you cannot deceive them easily. Discover the story and your mother's whereabouts before the 8th passenger finds you. Whoa, now we are talking. Representing a genre that was in decline, which already the fan had lost hope, came this jewel that nobody expected, marking a bright new future for survival horror, surprising us with its iconic version of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and teaching us what even having weapons with the ability to shoot down a gorilla, you can feel defenseless. Dead Space did what many had forgotten. Remind us that you can feel how adrenaline, stress, and fear gets impregnated in our pants. I mean, hearts. In this game, you control Isaac Clarke, a system engineer who was called to give an emergency maintenance to a damaged ship. Upon arriving at the ship, no response is obtained from any crew member. But even so, you and your group decide to enter. Ultimately, it is their job. Once inside, they find the system fallen and many failures, which make them go deeper into the ship. Big mistake. It reached a point where they separate, escaping from a creature that makes our hands stand on, and this is where the struggle to survive just begins. Alright, we must admit that although the Resident Evil saga was not the first of the best, it has been one of the most significant. For many, represent what is a true survival horror, especially in the first 3 games. Then came the dark times of the shooter. Realizing their mistake, they tried to redeem themselves, and it took them 2 attempts. But they did it, and they did it very well. Resident Evil 7 gave us control over Ethan Winters, whose wife disappeared about 3 years ago and was declared deceased. However, she found a way to communicate, showing us that she is alive and waiting in Louisiana, US. Upon reaching the place, we will find a huge house, apparently abandoned. Scouting the place, we found Mia, Ethan's wife, locked in the basement. After releasing her and trying to escape, we find an overwhelming reality. Mia is possessed, and the house is not truly abandoned. All its inhabitants are contaminated by a kind of bioweapon, and your mission is to escape safely. As you can see, good stories still exist. If you already played any of these titles, or if you feel that we missed some more, do not hesitate to leave your opinions in the comment box and follow us in our social networks. Thanks for watching. This is XOver TV. Happy Halloween, and remember, keep playing.